Hello students and namaste everyone. Our today's topic for your standard 9 social science is chapter number 5, movement towards independence. This is going to be our third lecture on the same topic, that is this chapter number 5, right? So we have already done 2 lectures on this chapter, that was part 1 and part 2, in which we have already discussed about the introductory part of the chapter. Then we had seen about the Simon Commission, then the movement for complete independence 1929, then the Dandi Yatra, right? Then we had seen the Quit India movement, and the different movements which took place along with the Quit India movement, right? Then we had seen the harmful effects of the Quit India movement or the harsh effects. Then we had seen the failure of the government in crushing the struggle by the Indians. Then we had seen the Azad Hind Fauj and Subhash Chandra Bose in the second part, and today we'll proceed further with the last lecture, right? So this will be our third and the last lecture for the chapter number 5. So let us begin with that, right? Azad Hind Fauj and Indian Independence League. So let us begin and find out what is written in that. After breaking the tight British security, Subhash Chandra Bose cleverly reached Japan from Berlin in a submarine in 1943, right? Moreover, Ras Bihari Bose of Indian Independence League invited Subhash Chandra Bose to be the head of this league, right? So there is Indian Independence League. Japan would provide every kind of help for the Indian freedom, right? So Japan was in favor of India and it would provide every kind of help it needed, right, to fight against the Britishers. It was promised that as Japanese army advances towards India, capturing Indian provinces, a provisional government would be formed and Japan would give them recognition. That means slowly and gradually the Indians will take the help of the Japan army, and as and when it will start capturing the regions which were under the British rule, right, they will start giving the provisional government. That means that regions will be coming under the rule of the Indians itself. Next is on July 2, 1943, Subhash Chandra Bose went to Singapore from Japan, and there he was elected as the president of Indian Independence League on 4th July 1943. Moreover, Ras Bihari Bose voluntarily retired as the head of Indian National Army, right? Ras Bihari Bose retired as a head of Indian National Army, that is Azad Hind Fauj, and appointed Subhash Chandra Bose as head of Indian National Army. Indians residing there got a proper and able leader for freeing their motherland. That means the people in Singapore and the people who were joined or they were attached with Indian National Army, they got a very good leader who would fight for the motherland India, right, and also guide them. Since then, Subhash Chandra Bose was called Netaji. We always call him Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. In his speeches and on radio, he gave slogans, Chalo Dilli, let's march to Delhi, and Tum mujhe khoon do, मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. That means he tried to convince the people that you need to fight, you need to join me, you need to fight for the nation. Whether we have to die for our nation, we have to die for it, right? So that is what he is trying to say, that fight against the Britishers in such a way that if we have to sacrifice our life, then too we should not be worried about it. So that is what he is trying to say, तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. Give me blood, I will give you freedom. With his skillful guidance, he formed the parallel government. He tried to convince and urged the Indians residing in Southeast Asia to sacrifice everything for the struggle of independence of India. That means he convinced the people that you need to sacrifice everything. Your main agenda or the target or the goal should be only the independence of India. He tried to explain the people that though you are living outside India in a foreign country, but we should always be loyal towards our country and to our motherland, that is India, and your prime or the main focus should be to get it freed from the Britishers or the British clutches, right? Next paragraph is establishment of provisional government by Subhash Chandra Bose. So Subhash Chandra Bose formed provisional Indian government and he became its prime minister. He allotted other departments to his companions and formed a cabinet. Again, we all know that how the government works, right? The general elections takes place. After that, from those elections, the party with the leading or the majority votes, from that party, a prime minister is selected, and the prime minister then selects his cabinet ministers for different departments. In the same way, Subhash Chandra Bose at that time had formed a provisional government. Again, it was not the original government, but he had just formed that government, right, for carrying out his work in India. Okay. This government was recognized by Japan, Germany, Italy, nationalized China and Burma. This government recognized Hindi as a national language and tricolor as national flag. It was decided to have income by assisting Japan, independent role and by property tax. Netaji visited Andaman and Nicobar Islands and named it as Shaheed, Martyr and Swarajya, that is independence. Andaman and Nicobar Islands were named or renamed by Subhash Chandra Bose as Shaheed and Swarajya. Okay. Last step, next paragraph is last step and martyrdom of Subhash Chandra, right? So let us find out what did he do at the end. In May 1944, under the leadership of Netaji, his military units captured Rangoon, Prom, Kohima, presently the capital of Nagaland. Then it marched towards Imphal, now capital of Manipur, right? So these are the northeastern states. But after the dropping of 2 atom bombs of Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan, the financial assistance to the provisional government stopped. That means the support of Japan became weak because America had dropped 2 atomic bombs, that is on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and because of that Japan was badly affected. So the support which it was providing to the India, it stopped, right? British articrafts started welfare against Azad Hind Fauj, and so the condition became critical. On 18th August 1945, he started from Taipei airport of Formosa from Tokyo, Japan, but his plane caught fire and he got serious burns, and while undergoing treatment, he died. So that is what is mentioned about Subhash Chandra Bose. The mystery of his death has remained unsolved till date. That means the people, they are unaware what happened at the end to Subhash Chandra Bose, whether it is correct that he died in the aeroplane crash or the plane which got crashed, in that his death had taken place or he was still alive, is not known to anyone. Next paragraph is achieving independence and partition of India. The commanders of Indian National Army were arrested as prisoners of wars and were accused of treason and put on trial. Treason. Treason means treason. It is known as treason. So treason means the crime of betraying one's country, right? Especially by attempting to kill or overthrow the sovereign or government, right? So we can again use a simple word, that is rebellion activities done by the people of the same country against the government. So that is known as treason. Betrayal means cheat, right? So if a country is there and if the government feels that the people of that country is cheating them, right, so that is known as treason. Moving ahead, what is written is, so the commanders of Indian National Army were arrested as prisoners of wars and were accused of treason and put on trial. That means they were arrested and case were filed against them, right, for doing the rebellion activity against the government, that is the British government. Bulabhai Desai and Jawaharlal Nehru pleaded their case. The whole country took keen interest in this case, right, when the British government inflicted them with punishment. Inflicted means imposed or forced, right, imposed or forced. So British government, what did they do, what action did they take? So British government inflicted them with punishment. There were protests against them in the entire country, right. So these people, they were given punishment by the Britishers and the whole nation protested against it. So owing to populist opinion, the government had to withdraw the punishment. Owing to the populist opinion means the maximum people or the population of the country was against this decision of the British government to punish the people of the Azad Hind Fauj, and therefore, right, so Indian National Army, so they were relieved, and that is how the British government, they warred against the Indian people, okay, and the punishment was withdrawn, that means taken away. This events end with the Naval Mutiny of Bombay. The British realized their rule in India will no longer be tenable. Tenable means able to be maintained. That means due to this event, the Britishers, they understood that they won't be able to survive for a longer period of time in India. On February 20, 1947, Attlee, the Prime Minister of Britain, announced that the British government shall give all the powers to the government of India as per the cabinet mission formula and shall quit India by June 1948. That is the decision given by the Prime Minister of Britain, that is Attlee. What did he say? That the British government shall withdraw, or they will give away the powers to the Indian government, okay. Next page, that is page number 36. Thus, in a changed situation, Mountbatten was appointed as the Viceroy in place of Lord Wavell. When he took charge of his post, communal riots had started in India, right. Communal riots means the riot between, in Gujarati what we say, danga fasad. That means a fight between two different communities or religion, right. So communal riots had started in India. The condition of India had become pathetic. In July 1946, the Congress secured 201 seats out of 210 and Muslim League 73 seats out of 78 from provinces of India for the prior formation of the Constituent Assembly. That means the elections for the Constituent Assembly had taken place, and in that, out of 210, that is 210 seats, Indian National Congress secured 201 seats and Muslim League, they secured 73 seats out of 78. So what is written further? The League pressurized the government for Pakistan. That means the Muslim League, right. So this Muslim League, they forced the Indian National Congress to prepare a separate country or a state for the Muslims, that is, and they wanted to give it the name as Pakistan, right. So on 16th August 1946, right, so the League pressurized the government for Pakistan on 16th August 1946. So terrible communal riots and tumult spread all over India. Tumult means chaos, unrest. That means a situation of confusion. The people, because earlier it was a part of India only. Now two separate countries were going to be formed, right? So many Hindus were there who were living in Pakistan, and many Muslims were there who were living in India. So the people, they were confused. There was a situation of chaos, what to do, what not to do, where to live, whether they should live away their native place where they were born and go to the other part of the country, right? So there was total confusion, which is known as tumult. So terrible communal riots and tumult spread all over India. Looking at the situation in India, Sardar Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru and other Congress leaders felt there was no other alternative except accepting the demand of Muslim League. That means the situation of India was so critical at that moment or that point of time that the Indian National Congress leaders, they realized that they had only one option left with them, that was just accepting the demands of the Muslim League, right, for Pakistan. So because Muslim League and Jinnah insisted for separate Pakistan, so Muslim League boycotted the first cabinet meeting on December 9, 1946. The Muslim League executive held on January 13, 1947 decided to boycott the cabinet meeting and gave a rapid and extensive program for the demand of Pakistan. That means when the Constituent Assembly was formed, for that meeting was going to be held, but they boycotted it. That means they did not attend the meeting because they didn't want to be a part of India and they wanted a separate country for their own religion. Moving further, Mountbatten convinced Nehru and Sardar Patel, who understood the matter, that having a well organized central government having administrative units under the center shall be more peaceful and progressive instead of weak central government consisting of many autonomous and opposite constituents. That means Mountbatten convinced the Nehru and Sardar Patel that if in the Constituent Assembly there were two major parties, that was, one was the Indian National Congress and other was the Muslim League, right? So even the Muslim League, they had 73 seats, and if the constitution, if the center was formed with such kind of seats, then the Indian National Congress could not take the major decisions, and autonomously means they could not take the decisions on their own, and the decisions would be biased. That means the Muslim League would not accept their decisions or the programs thought by them. So what Mountbatten convinced them is, it's better to form a separate country and form a government wherein you will have your majority and you can take your own decisions in whatever way you want, right? So national leaders found this argument acceptable. Sardar Patel and Nehru discussed this matter with Gandhiji, who also helplessly accepted arrangement of partition of India with heavy hearts. That means he was not actually willing to get India partition, but then too they did not have any choice and they had to accept that thing. Next is Mountbatten Plan 1947 and partition of India. On March 24, Viceroy Mountbatten presented his scheme. According to him, there was no alternative other than the partition of India. National and prolific leaders means fruitful leaders, that means the leaders who used to work day and night for the nation, like Sardar Patel, understood the matter, right? After many discussions and pondering means thinking about carefully, especially before making a decision, right? So after many discussions and pondering, finally on June 3, 1947, Viceroy Mountbatten decided to plan the partition of India. This plan is known as Mountbatten Plan. The Congress leaders and Muslim League accepted this plan. When Mountbatten Plan started getting implemented, the people of East Bengal and Sylhet province of Assam decided to join East Pakistan, right? They decided to join East Pakistan. Earlier, if you are aware, right, so India it got partitioned. On the west was West Pakistan, and on the eastern part where we have the West Bengal, there was East Pakistan, right? So it was divided in such a way, right? West Bengal and East Bengal were affiliated with India as per decision of their assembly. West Punjab joined with Pakistan. It was decided to affiliate Northwest Province, Sindh and Baluchistan with Pakistan. So this is how the provinces were distributed, right? Punjab joined Pakistan. Again, the Bengal, it was divided into two parts, West Bengal and the East Bengal. Again, East Bengal was ready to join with Pakistan. Next is Indian Independence Act, July 1947. The British Parliament passed the Indian Independence Act according to Mountbatten Plan. According to this, India's first Governor General was Mountbatten, and Janab Jinnah was the governor of Pakistan. By this act, India's dependence on British rule came to an end. Therefore, Gandhiji considers this act as the one and only best and beneficial act given by the Britishers to the India, right? So that was what Gandhiji thought. The last viceroy of the British government organized a function in New Delhi at the midnight of August 14th. The Union Jack of England was brought down from the pole and the Indian national flag, that is tricolor, was hoisted. That means the British rule came to an end and the Indian rule started. The documents attributing independence to India were handed over by Mountbatten to C. Rajgopalachari, the first Governor General of independent India. Entire atmosphere was full of excitement. Entire process of transfer of power was completed, right? Because it is not a simple process, it is quite lengthy and complicated process. So all the power and everything was handed over by Mountbatten to C. Rajgopalacharya. August 15, 1947 was an excellent dawn for India. D-A-W-N. Dawn means the early morning period, right? So that was the morning which was the most beautiful morning for the whole of India, because with it there were new beginning, new opportunities, new life for the Indian people, right? All celebrated the first independence festival very pleasantly and cheerfully in the entire country. Everywhere people hung torans, right? So usually whenever there is a good occasion, people in India, they tie torans at the door or the gate. A good omen, right? It is considered to be a good omen. On doors, sweets were distributed in schools. Many people who had taken vow felt relieved on its fulfillment, but Gandhiji was shocked due to the partition of India, and therefore he was deeply plunged into grief. That means, plunged means to jump or dive, right? So that means he got very much shocked and he got lost in the grief, sadness or sorrow, and drifted into meditation. That means then he drifted or he started doing meditation. Next and the last paragraph, India becoming independent and the immediate problems of it. India and Pakistan, two separate independent nations, came into existence as a result of Mountbatten Plan and the Indian Independent Act 1947. The resolution to the following problems had to be found out, right? Because again we all know the problems. If a father is having two sons and if just the father wants to distribute or give away the inherent property to the two kids, again it is quite complicated. But here it is not the same matter. Here it was the matter of the whole nation, right? Again one single nation was getting divided or bifurcated. Alright, so again there were so many different procedures and processes to be carried out. How to distribute the resources of the nation, again that was a very big question, right? How much area of land to be distributed, again that was a big question. Which provinces will be included in India, which provinces will be included in the Pakistan. So there were n number of problems and the questions in the mind of the people. So let us find out what all problems the Indians had to face, right? So what is written? The resolution to the following problems had to be found out. First one, reorganization of the military force, because earlier when they were fighting against the Britishers, it was only one army, that was the army which was the Indian army which fought against the Britishers. So reorganization of military force, right? That means who will be the part of Pakistan, who will be the part of India. Disputes over assets and properties, that is what I said, assets and properties, that means which part of the land or the property will be the part of Pakistan and which will be the part of India. Debts and credits, right? Even being a country, it had to pay a lot of debts, right? So debts and the credit. Debts means karjo, and credits means usually if we have given money to someone else, that will be a credit for us, right? That means we need to take money from them. So debts and credits, so how it is to be distributed between both the countries. Problem and settlement of refugees. Again, refugees means, as I explained you, that at the time of partition, means before partition, it was a united India, right? It was a part of India only, Pakistan also and East Bengal also, right? So after it got separated, how, means what the people will do, where the people will go, right? So many people, they had their hometown, or they were born at that place, they had to left each and everything and they had to shift to the different parts of the country. That means the people or the Hindus who were living in Pakistan, they wanted to come to India. Many Muslims who were living in India, they wanted to reach Pakistan, right? So a lot of problems were there. And after that, if there are refugees, refugees means the people of the other country who are settled or who are living in our own country, so they are known as refugees. Public services and the arrangement of civil servants and administrative staff, right? So how is that to be distributed? Again, that was a big question. Demarcation of international boundaries on eastern and western side of India to be fixed, right? Because again, the Bengal was divided into West Bengal and East Bengal. Again, at the western part there was Pakistan, West Pakistan. Again, for that the boundary was to be decided, right? So all these were the major problems. Next, a 5-member committee consisting of 2 representatives each from India and Pakistan was formed under the chairmanship of Lord Mountbatten. The committee appointed different commissions consisting of experts of relevant subjects to solve all the problems, right? So to solve all these problems, a committee was formed. In case of any difference of opinion, both the nations admitted to accept the final decision given by an arbitrator. Arbitrator means will be an independent person or body officially appointed to settle a dispute. Right, so whenever there is a dispute, there will be a third person or a third party who is neither in favor of each or either party or either party, and they will be neutral. So arbitrator will be neutral, and it will try to solve the dispute between the two parties. Okay, consisting of 1 representative of India and 1 of Pakistan under the chairmanship of the former Chief Justice of India. Military Commandant General of India compiled the partition of army, military weapons, etc. The British Army left India by February 28, 1948. All officers and employees of the administration, military, judiciary were given opportunity to choose whether they would serve India or Pakistan. That means the choice was given to them, right? They were given assurance about their pay, allowance, security of service, pension, etc. Right? A large number of refugees from both countries migrated. That means many people who were living already in the West Pakistan, right? So they wanted to shift to India, but they could not anyhow, so they settled over there. Even in the same way, there were many people in India who wanted to go towards Pakistan, but they could not go due to circumstances, and they settled over there, so they were known as refugees, right? So a large number of refugees from both the countries migrated, leaving their houses and properties. India solved the tremendous problem of their rehabilitation, right? So rehabilitation means what? Restoring something that has been damaged to its we can say normal condition or position, former and later. Later means pachi, afterwards, and former means earlier. So the way earlier it was, the government tried to bring the situation of the people to their same condition. That is known as rehabilitation. Okay. So whenever any kind of damage or destruction takes place, right, due to natural calamities and all, so many things get damaged or destroyed, but the government makes rehabilitation programs. That means it makes efforts to bring back the things to its normal or natural position. Okay. The then Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel merged about 562 small and big princely states of India into Indian Union, right? So it was the great and the commendable job done by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, because of which we are part of United India. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's strong determination, iron will and diplomatic negotiations solved the problems. Diplomatic negotiations means, right, usually when we go to the market, we try to do the negotiations. No, not means if a person says that I need this much money, you will say no, not this much. Please accept this much. The other person will say no, not that much less. At least you should pay me this much. So again, after such kind of discussions, coming to an agreement, that is known as negotiations. Yet long-term planning to find a solution to the problems like effect of communal rights due to partition, the shock of Gandhiji's death, to make independent India self-reliant with the help of good governance, the weak condition of Indian agriculture, to create an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. Tranquility means calm and quiet in the country, the internal external security of the country, etc. became necessary, right? So this is how our country, right, or this is the journey how our country has progressed through, and from the Britishers' clutches they have achieved the independence, right? So that's it for this today's lecture. I'll end my lecture over here with the completion of the chapter. Okay, thank you everyone for listening to me. Take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye everyone.